Meanwhile, of course, Ned's summer was too precious to him for it to be wasted on politics. Too much fucking and cricket and fucking and sailing and fucking to be done, so why not let Ashley the Manchester cart horse do the secretarial work this year, eh, par old thing? Plenty of time for catching up after Oxford, don't you think, Daddy darling? And one day, when I'm ready to settle down, I could send for good old Ashley and have him for a political assistant. Poor Ashley would be so grateful. In fact, why not get him in training for it now? Give him a bit of experience, just the thing. We'll invite him along for dinner and put it to him. He'll be so grateful. It'll get that nasty business of reading his embarrassing diary off my conscience, too. We'll give him the old oil and have him typing letters and licking envelopes before you can say arrogant, cunting, upper-fucking-class arseholes. You all right? Yes, fine, miles away. Ashley smiled vaguely at Gordon, as if emerging from a gently eccentric daydream. So, he said brightly, first time you've met the great Ned, then? Gordon nodded cautiously. The great Ned? Forgive the promptings of a sarcastic heart, said Ashley. He's very popular, of course. Very talented, but... Oh, you don't want to listen to me. None of my business. Hey, if he's dating my cousin, I want to know everything there is to know, said Gordon. Portia thinks his shit don't stink, but you're in school with the guy. You've known him longer than she has. Well, let's just say I wouldn't like my cousin going out with him, said Ashley. It's hard to define. Most people think he's charming and honest and everything that could ever be appealing in a man. Personally, I find him cold and arrogant and deceitful. Ah! Ashley looked up as Big Ben began to chime the half-hour. 12:30. If it's all right with you, we might stop off at that pub round the corner. Said I'd meet a friend there for lunch. If we feel like it, we can go on to the house afterwards. Hey, look, if I'm in the way... Not at all. You'll like Rufus, and he'll like you. Well, he'll like your £10. You can buy a lot to drink with £10. Oh, well, if I'm joking, he's as rich as God, and I'm sure you'll find that you have a great deal in common. Ned lay in bed, gazing up at the ceiling. With a fist clenched over her cheek, Portia slept tightly curled like a kitten beside him. He hadn't yet told her about the nightmare of watching Paddy Leclerc dying on board the Orfana. On the bus from Heathrow, they had talked almost like strangers, Ned concerned not to make Gordon feel left out, and Portia strangely shy in her cousin's presence too. He wasn't going to worry her, but the experience had shaken him. He had never confronted death, responsibility, and fear before, and to meet them all in one go was unsettling. Sailing back to Scotland with a dead man below had not been pleasant for him. Rufus Cade had behaved oddly too. It seemed natural that Ned should skipper the boat back to Oban, and everyone but Cade agreed that it was right and sensible. Ned, without vanity he knew it to be true, was the best sailor amongst them, and surely Leclerc's last bestowal of trust in him proved his right to command. Not that he was able to repeat that secret to Cade or anyone else. For 5 hours, as dawn broke and they made their miserable way back to harbour, Cade had sullenly criticised all Ned's decisions and gone out of his way to undermine his authority at every turn. This had never happened to Ned before, and had left him feeling hurt and puzzled. It was only as they were making their way through Oban Harbour towards the quayside and the flashing blue lights of the ambulance and police cars awaiting them that he had understood. Cade had approached him shyly. "Look, I'm sorry, Madstone," he said, staring down at the decking. "I suppose I was a bit upset by it all. Didn't mean to criticise you. It's right for you to be in charge." Ned had laid a hand on Cade's arm. "Bloody hell, Rufus, don't give it another thought. Under the circumstances, you've been amazing." The rest of the day had passed in a confused dream of witness statements, telephone calls, and interminable waiting before Ned had finally been allowed to lead the party off to Glasgow to catch the night train to Euston. Leadership was exhausting. Portia's head stirred on his chest, and he found himself looking into her eyes. "Hello," he said. "Hello." And they laughed.